Hi, good morning. Thank you for joining me on my walk this morning. I just wanted to make a video just talk about the health benefits of going for a morning walk. I just find that in the morning it gives us good sun exposure. Here I am in sunny California, so I try to make sure that I'm doing my walks early enough where I don't have that heavy overhead sun later in the day. So it's really important to get out there early in the morning where it's still not too hot. And it also sets a good circadian rhythm. So then that way, I didn't realize until I heard from Dr. Huberman on his Huberman Lab podcast that getting early morning sun exposure can actually help you sleep at night. So that's pretty cool. Some of the things that you can do during the day to help you later on. Yeah, so some of the other great benefits of walking is that it's good for the cardiovascular system, getting the heart rate going. It's not as intensity as a high intensity workout or a run, but it's still more than just sitting. So that's really good. And then also increasing your respiratory rate. It's great for the lymphatic system to get that moving. That will help decrease inflammation. It'll help with your immune system, and it'll just walking in and of itself will help with maintaining good cortisol levels and healthy weight balance. So just so many great things about going for a walk. Not usually talking during my walk, so I'm getting accustomed to this, but I did want to take you with me on this journey. I know so many people, they may struggle with their weight and think that they need to do something extreme to get going, but really it's just as simple as going for a walk around the block, because I do try to optimize things when I can, and part of that is having that early light sun exposure, as well as getting the benefits of moving my body on a walk. It also helps with brain function by increasing the blood supply to the brain. So maintaining a good cognitive function is very important, right? Good joint mobility. So just really all kinds of benefits. Getting outside, getting that fresh air. Of course, it is helpful if you can do it out in nature, that you get the benefits of reducing cortisol levels that way. But it's also fun to walk around your neighborhood. You don't have to go far. A quick walk around the block. You never know who you might cross paths with, what friendly neighbor you might meet. That's also great to create that community of people, especially in your neighborhood. You never know what friendships might develop just from you being out on the walk. So this has been pretty great. So like I was saying, it doesn't have to be long. Just start with just doing something around the block, and you'll find that as your endurance builds, you'll be able to go a little further, a little longer. If you know that there's any areas of incline, that you can try to do that to challenge yourself as you get stronger and your muscles build. You'll be able to incorporate that as well. One thing I like to do is, especially in the different areas, some of these homes are just so unique, each from each other. So I'm just fascinated looking at the different architecture and landscaping of the different homes. And then if there is a time of celebration, a holiday or something like that, people start decorating for those occasions. I find it fascinating to see how people choose to decorate for that. So that's a fun thing as well. So being outside, having that sun exposure gets the vitamin D that we need. Try to find natural ways to obtain the different vitamins as opposed to using supplements, because food sources and environment are much better metabolized and received by the body than supplements. Better than nothing. But if we can get it from whole sources, then I say that's the way to go when possible. But we have our options to supplement if we don't have access to food sources, and if you're in an area where the time of year where you don't have that much sun. Being born in Canada and living there for a time before my family moved to the States, so I'm aware that there is a time of year where you don't get too much sun exposure, and I know that they have different light sources that you can purchase that will simulate the rays of the sun. So there are options like that as well that you could use. I know there's different talks about varying pace of walking, about doing intervals of increased speed versus lower speed, so that's something that you can try. If you're just starting out, keep it light and easy. You don't have to go crazy, because you definitely don't want to cause an injury that will then prevent you from continuing doing something that's good for you, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing it in a healthy manner so that we can maintain our longevity. I know that I've been talking about the motion of going for a walk, but sometimes along the walk, I get to a moment and pause, and where, especially if somebody has a garden as beautiful as this, I'm going to turn the camera around. Look at that beauty. Isn't she gorgeous? Really, the whole thing. I just love stopping to smell the roses. Isn't that one? So it's good to move, but it's good to pause and appreciate just everything that's around you. And if somebody is able to maintain a garden like that, then I want to stop and appreciate it, because it's so gorgeous, and it's just not a skill that I have. I've tried having plants in my home, and they don't survive very well. I have a hard time maintaining them. So I certainly appreciate it when somebody else is able to maintain a garden, because I do enjoy the beauty of a flower. So sometimes I'll treat myself and buy a little bouquet for the apartment, but it's short-lived. So when I can go for walks and appreciate that, I certainly try to do that. Other things that I like to do on walks is I find it's a good time for prayer, reflection, meditation, just talking to God, but then also listening. Sometimes during my walk, I'm able to free up some mental space for God to talk to me. Sometimes I get answers for things that I've been struggling trying to find a solution to, and sometimes it's just a matter of a walk that I appreciate God's creation and the beauty that He's put into this world, even if it is just the different architecture and the different landscaping. Those are all creative ideas put into people that have given those unique talents and abilities. Sometimes my walk is just the appreciation of that. If I do get to a park or somewhere further out in nature, I just appreciate the trees and sometimes the shade cover that they provide. If it's starting to get too hot, or if there's like a river or something else that I can appreciate, then I like to take the moments to enjoy that, because in my day-to-day life I don't get to do that so much. With my current job schedule, I start before the sun rises, so I don't get to have the early morning sun exposure on those days. So I do try to take the most advantage on my days off. I'm also with my commute, usually in the office before the sun comes up and arriving home right as the sun is setting. So I try to give myself opportunity to have some sun exposure during the day, but a lot of times it would end up being just so late in the day that I really don't want that heavy sun on me. So this has been nice, and I hope that it has inspired you to get out and explore your neighborhood. Go for a walk, even if it is just up and down the street. You don't have to go far to start, and you never know what you might come across and what people you might meet, and just how the Lord will speak to you as you're on your walk. So I hope this has encouraged you, and so get out there and start walking. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.